Because you can't install the version 5 of
Yeah.
MySQL and try to do that.
Fine.
8 had some bug. That save.
Yeah, but I don't know. It might. I mean, 5 should be enough, but I mean, oh, you turn up the sound? No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but we're recording. Yeah, you don't need a co-pilot. That just means that I can also control your screen.
But I don't know, I think
But-
I shared my screen, but
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I forgot to share my screen up there. But I see your screen. It's all right. It's just me. I need to do the Chrome testing. That's this time. Yeah.
yeah. So what I did, I used this async and await,
Yeah.
so it can wait for this to be finished and then for the second one, and then I use the button here. So
Yeah.
that was it. And for the data, I just grab the data, do a quick filter, and then put some arrays and then put the data in the array
Okay.
that I want, and then insert it into the database.
All right.
And then also use await and async. But in the way,
I just don't think that should be necessary. I think maybe you're treating the symptoms of another problem. Yeah. But can I see your up migration again?
this is what I use.
Yeah. Yeah. But aside from that, it doesn't matter like what order you create all your tables, and especially the order where you delete all the tables. That was why there's the the problem that we found on like the GitHub issue that we found was some guy who had problems when he was trying to delete things. It was not in the right order. So yeah, okay. But that, I mean, that's definitely something to try if you other guys you have problems. You can try this out. I just kind of feel like maybe yeah, I don't know. Probably have to play around with it myself to figure out why it would be needed.
But in the way he created all the concept, he said he created the cloud fund. It's like the same, but not in the order.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, right?
So you're able to grab this field from the JSON file?
Yeah, I got it from this and do the filter and then put some array and then what I needed the data. So you did
Array?
yeah. No, outside, like a global array.
Okay, and then you make
Can you show us again?
Yeah, so I For songs, for records, for bands, artists, and
Right.
I had some error with this. I should just expedite.
How about so are you setting up the relations as well between songs and records now?
Yeah, I have it like this. This gets ID from the record.
Yeah.
So I have created those tables also, but I have some.
But that's only when you create the table. But how about when you put data in the tables?
What do you mean?
When you're adding data to the table, because you had all the data up there. So how do you put the correct record ID in the song? Something there. So there's the song.
Yeah,
Okay, so there's record ID I plus 1.
like all of the data, we haven't like ID in our data.
Yeah.
No, but I can do like I plus T or R or yeah. Like I can do like this for records. So all of the record bits. And then for articles I can do A or the other. So
Yeah. That's not really what I want. It's just if you try deleting that again. So to me it looks like right now. So this you're doing here is basically the same as auto incrementing in MySQL, right? And whenever you create a new song, you just give that one a new record ID. So right now, songs are actually associated to the records based on when the song is created. So the first time this one is first time this is called, this is 1 actually, right? Because I is 0, and so it starts as 1. Okay, so it's 1 indexed. So this is 1, and this is 1, right? Then the next time it's called, this is 2, and this is 2. But that's a problem because there are multiple songs in one record. So let's say the first song that you see, the first 4 songs that you see goes on the same record. So this one should be 1, 1, 2, 1, because it's the same record, right? 3, 1, 4, 1, and so on, so on.
okay.
So if you look at your data now that's being migrated in, you'll probably see that all the record IDs there, they don't really represent what records your songs are on. So that's definitely something you need to work out. So you need for each song, you need to kind of like, you probably want to go by the record up here, because in the JSON file you have a record, and inside that record you have a list of songs in that record, right? So you need to take the record, and then you need to, within the record, you need to loop through and create the songs, and then keep the record ID for each new song you created. And then once you finish that record, you can go on with the next one and do the same thing again.
Where's the record?
The record? Okay. So the record is the entire thing here.
Oh.
And within the record, you have this list of tracks. Right?
Yeah.
So these are the songs, song 1 and song 2.
Oh.
And if you want them to be specified that it's side A and B, you can use them down here. But there might be some issues with these ones, so I suggest you just use this one, and we don't care so much about the sides on the record.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I should.
But I know it's a little bit confusing because in most cases the record title is the same as the first song. But that's the data. Cool. But I think this is probably a priority to fix that one. because otherwise you won't have that record song functionality. So you should probably look at that as one of the first things. And then and then the other things we're talking about. Cool. Thanks for showing us. Yeah. Isaac, should we try to adapt what we figured out now? So we can adapt it to our actual tables? No, now we figured out setting up the foreign key. So let's try to do that with songs and records.
That's what I was trying to do.
Okay, but let's do it together. I think the call ended again, so I need to do another one. That's annoying. I don't know if you can revive that call in some way.
Yeah.
You can join again.
Demo, like the demo, I don't know, yeah, because I know everything in the code. That's what I want to do. If you feel comfortable about the code, that you should be prepared to. Actually, this is what I have done.
It's not decided, but it's a possibility.
Oh, so if I want, I can I can skip the presentation.
No, the thing is, if you keep not done, maybe you will not graduate, and that means that you will graduate alone and present alone.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's just a heads up.
Yeah.
If that happens, you should be ready for that. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen. It's just a possibility. Yeah. So that's pretty good.
No.
We have the another data, not for the 6 examples.
Okay.
This is that outside the person. Some ID.
Yep. I think that looks right. And do you...
Reference ID. I don't know if you put this one or...
No, all this stuff is supposed to go on the song, not on the record.
Yeah. Okay. This one?
Yeah, the entire call there. Yeah. Yeah, that must be it.
So this one should be record ID.
So I would call that one a song in record. Yeah. Cool.
Then what about this ID reference?
So here you have to think about, read it like this. References something in table something, right? So it references something in another table. So we're referencing something in the record table, right? And what's the ID that we are supposed to reference called up there?
ID record.
Yeah. So that's a primary key. So references ID record in table record.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you. And you need to spell it right, record. Yeah, you have a typo in line 23. Record instead of record.
Which is not my problem.
Yeah.
Now it's running. Like it's still connected with that.
Okay. Something happened. Yay! So I think it actually did run.
I've seen something like it.
Motivation.
Very good. So there, that looks right so far because we should have the foreign key should be set on the song.
Yeah.
Any song and record, excellent. Yeah, cool.
I was stuck with this.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. The next thing is the seed. So
And for the other table, that's artist. Connecting with the artist table.
yeah, that's true. There's another one where there's this. So it's actually. Do you have the data model that I gave you? Try to open that. Mm. Already open another instance of application. So you have it in a window somewhere?
No.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Let me just show you. Because it's in. Let me just find it in the Slack channel here. So I've taken over the screen now. Yeah. So here's is in video. I thought you
I
put
get
it.
it now.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay. So just take it all. Oh yeah. So I just need to do like this. Yeah. So there's the band has artist, which is kind of this collecting table in between.
Yeah.
So you need that one as well. But I mean, maybe we should. I would really like to see how you're planning on seeding this now that we have the relation now, because here you just have to apply the same principle. You can see one to many, one to many.
Yeah.
It's two of them to the same table, and then one to many. So just repeating the same thing over, right? And of course, you need to be really aware that you put the IDs in the right places, right? But you can kind of see it here. So this is the primary key, right, of the band, ID band, and then you have the foreign key up here. So that means when you create the tables, you need to do this stuff that you did there. You need to do it on this one, and you need to do it 2 times because you have the foreign key for the band, and you have the foreign key for the artist, right? And after that, you need to do the same thing over here. Yeah. But I'd really like to see how you plan on getting the songs into the records, like the stuff that we were just talking about. Darren needs to work out. So what do you have in terms of migrations right now?
Migration or the seed?
Oh, sorry, seed. Yeah, I mean seed. Yeah.
The seed, this is what we did last time.
Yeah.
And that was
Very good.
yeah. This is working.
You can grab the data from the.
Yeah, let me try it.
I think we renamed the foreign key.
Yeah. I can run, you can see.
See what fails. Yeah. file module. So the JSON file, there's something wrong in the way you're importing the JSON file.
I think it was deleted.
Yeah, maybe the file is removed. That's another.
That time when I was doing the colon, the data was
But it looks strange that you have this /seeds/... data in the path there. So it's kind of like it's not resolving the path in the right way.
it seems the folder for data is not. I'm not seeing
This
it.
seed where you have
Oh yeah.
take it in migration DB. This file.
The folder data is not there. It was
Yeah.
deleted.
Yeah.
But Zach, can I tell you something? No, not that. Is that different? Like the same problem what you see there, we have even I get in the column. But the thing is, we set up ID here and real data we don't have an ID. So actually, you can see the data here.
Yeah. You don't get an ID in the JSON file.
Yeah, you don't get the ID, and you have you cannot write the data.
No, you have to create for every record in your JSON file.
Yeah,
You have to automatically create an ID.
Yeah.
So for every
Song.
album,
Yeah.
every album you have to create an album ID, like a record ID. And for every song you have to create a song ID. But also the song has to have the reference to the record ID, so it knows which record it belongs on.
Yeah, like I have the song like title, alternative title, span, all this, even span has this stuff.
Yeah.
The relation doesn't show up. Even it doesn't get the data from what we are expecting.
Yeah.
So I have the table here, all of them.
Yeah.
I have and see, but I'm not get the data from what I have. But I don't know if it work in our data or we work in our table again. We want more things to fit to our real data.
I mean,
Like trucks, we have in the data trucks on side A and B, we don't have it now. We don't have it now.
well, no, but side A and B is supposed to be on the song, I think.
So it means that we need to fill in some.
But honestly, I don't think you should care so much about side A and side B.
Even
Because I think that data is kind of broken.
It seems to be working.
Okay. Nice. So let's have a look in your database. Let's see if things are going in the right way. Yeah. Can you pull it in it so we can see it properly? But it does look like artists. I remember the Opus guitar band. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's the location is not supposed to be vinyl record.
Yeah, I'm
But,
just
Okay. Yeah. But that looks very promising. Song. Okay, so that's not working. Okay. But that was what I was asking about. So that's what you need to remember. So for every record, so if you do like a maybe you do like a map or a for each on the JSON file. If you do that, then you will get all the records, right?
Yeah.
But within all of the records, there will be this track property. So you need to also do a for each or a map on each of them, and then you need to make sure that the ID from the record is saved as a new song and record ID, right? And this way they will be associated together in the database as well. So that's an estimate. Cool. Maybe I'll try to focus on helping you a little bit. So maybe if you take over the screen, And Isaac, you can work on your thing, or you can like follow along here and help out if you want. It's up to you.
Yeah, during the call in platform.
Join this call, and if it screens, be ready to press the microphone. Yeah, press the microphone here. You can see we got an echo and something. Okay, and then share your screen with me. Okay? And Isaac, you probably want to leave the call. Cool.
I have my song table here.
Yeah.
I created and I have this title on it, so like proper and not titles, and this is the reference also for the band table.
Yeah.
From here. If you came to record table, you have ID record, I think.
Yeah.
You put it out, this and I have table and rotation here, and you have the purpose.
Yeah.
Artist, the same what is record, and band has this is also other table handling like artist and band. This table. So we have like artist, reference to artist, and reference to ID or band. So here the table name, table name. This one the same what happened in artist. So we try to run this one. Let's go let us. There's nothing added, so we go to rollback. We go to C.
Yeah, but that makes sense because you rolled back your migration, so now you don't have the tables anymore. So you need to migrate latest.
Run latest, yeah.
Also, Isaac, make sure your down migration works properly, right?
So now it's seeding this table, and if you go to the command or the table there, the database, and we have paused this report what we created.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to specific one. Select. So we have this. We go to the report. I give the result that everybody see it. So
Yeah.
I just show you how I see it. The way of seeding here, issue table. I require this from some, and then I will.
What is that file you're requiring?
This file I will require the data for us is going to be.
Oh, I remember. Yeah. So you called the JSON file. You called that
JSON
song.
file. So
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So for each of this table, I have required that.
Yeah.
So that's supposed to be coming from there.
Yeah.
So that I don't get any of that. This is the problem.
Yeah. I don't remember if Node.js is clever enough to require JSON files if you do like that, or you have to explicitly say JSON. But you will get an error for sure. And your seed did run.
Running, but doesn't tell me anything. So and doesn't tell me that doesn't know that this song. Before it was telling me this is where is the person asking me.
Yeah.
It means that
Oh, yeah.
this song.
I think it has to do like the stuff you're mentioning about for each and not.
Yeah,
That's
but
why-
because right now you just take an entire JSON file here
Yeah.
and insert that into record.
Yeah.
So that's definitely not enough. But I'm a little bit surprised that we don't get any errors or anything else. So maybe let's just first make 100% sure that the songs are actually being referenced correctly. So
Okay,
maybe
alright.
just do like console log songs.
Where?
Just after line 1. So add a line after line 1. not in without quotes. Yeah.
Some is S.
With in plural with an S. Yeah.
Some.
You had a spelling mistake.
In this one.
Is some.
S. I don't know if you could. Yeah.
Slack, that's that. Slack.
So now, if you go here on local host, you can see it.
Oops.
You need to go song here.
Is the server running? Did you start the server?
I think it's the service running when you get that error there. No default engine was specified. I think you're hitting a wrong route. Check your route.
It is 30001.
Yeah, this one should run.
You put one. Put one.
No, it is the express server. This one. Error not found. I think you're hitting a wrong route. Try doing just song.
But I want to tell you something.
It's
Out in here, I didn't set up the song.
Okay. Browse users.
Here. You set up the song here.
Yeah.
And if you can run this.
But why do you want to show this on a route? I don't really
No,
care.
you set console lock. So
Yeah.
this
No. You don't need that. If you do console log there,
Yeah.
it will log it out to your terminal. Yeah.
Because of console lock, I want to see.
Yeah. Okay. I understand.
So, but it's still receiving and we don't get the data. So I need to like fix my stuff.
Yeah, you need to try to run the seed file now because hopefully the seed should show us with the console log. It should show that we have the file reference correctly.
We'll have like
Yeah, you see here the array or the object is empty.
yeah.
It's printing out an empty object. So that means that we're not referencing the file correctly. So we need to fix that first.
Yeah. What do you mean that you need to fix the file here, all of them correctly?
Yeah, so the require statement where you're including your JSON file does not work at the moment. So you don't have anything in your JSON file. That's
Yeah.
why you don't get any data. So find where we did the console.log before. I think it was your seeds and then in songs, right?
Yeah.
No, not in that one. One of the other ones. Is it records? I'm pretty sure it was one of the seed files here. You didn't try record. Yeah, there it is. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So
if
have
we
have a look at the directories first.
Yeah.
One step back. Two step. Oh, blah, 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 blah.
Like if you want to see, let's go. One.
Can you close this folder? So you close this one, Dev.
Yeah, this
One. That's one. And then seats, two. And that's no, seats is not in migrations. DB is the next one. You're close.
Okay. DB. No,
Yeah.
this is DB. And then the file here.
Yeah. So that looks right. Okay, so just try to do songs.json. No, oh wait, it's .js. Ah. Oh, so you didn't even call it .json.
No, this is yes.
Yeah.
If you call
I guess you could do that as well. But try calling it .js. There's definitely something that's not working with the import thing. Yeah, you can rename it to JSON as well. Just the seats.
Yeah.
I do it in the record seat because that's where we have the console log. And then fix the other one later.
If the server is on the thing, you can push something. The server, since it is running,
Yeah,
the
that's
console
true.
log has to be.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. It's insert the thing.
Yeah, it is there.
Okay.
But you have development.
It is there. The console log.
That's fine. So we actually have data now.
So now we run this again.
Yeah. But we didn't do the work that's needed after. So have a look at the error message.
Yeah.
Yeah, column barcode of relations song does not exist. Yeah, so here the problem is that now it takes every one of these and it sees something like barcodes and then it's like, hey, that doesn't exist in the database already. So it's just trying to intelligently parse all of this.
Yeah.
And it can't do that because we don't have all of these things in that table.
Yeah.
If you wanted to put everything into the same table, we could do it in that way. But now we need to do the work that actually needed for doing it right. So, but that just tells us that we needed to rename it to JSON. So do that in your other migration files now.
Yeah.
So we have that fixed, and then we can look into properly parsing it.
Okay.
And in the record, we can delete the console log because now we know we have the data. Not that one. That's migrations. You need to look at the seeds.
The JSON because that you were already receiving the data.
I think we need to have some.
He was already getting the data. JSON was that necessary.
No, he didn't get the data before because there was like an empty object. When we console
He
log.
was console logging from there and we got the results.
Yeah.
But still, maybe. Yeah, I've added JSON there.
So
We renamed the file and we added JSON there.
Yeah. But previously it was not there, but still we got the console was working.
Yeah, but it's one table.
Okay.
So we
Yeah.
need to make the first table.
Yeah, but there's the same thing. You will get all kinds of errors if you just try to do it like this. You need to do it right. So let's have a look at your yeah, one of the seed files in your code. I want to see one of your seed files. So yeah, I don't really care. Yeah, okay. Let's start with record for sure. Yeah.
No, you don't need that because you've already declared some.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
because here we're saying except from.
No, it's songs, not songs.json. But try to go to the records seed.
Because
The seed.
this
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
Maybe just close the migrations folder because you're not going to work with the migration folder for a while. So just hide it up here. Okay, so now we're looking at the seed file for the records. And I'm not sure how is it set up to run all the other seeds because I kind of want to turn them off. Is it just going to seed everything that's in that folder then?
Yeah, it's all of them going to run the same environment.
Then just go in the other files and comment the entire file out. Just so we focus on one file at a time. Just control, yeah, okay, yeah.
Control it.
Yeah.
Just release it, you can. Doesn't work.
Just highlight everything and control it. Then you
Kind of
put
saving.
Yeah, on Mac I do Shift Command 7, but I don't know on PC.
Understand.
yes, and check on edit and see which shortcuts you use.
Yeah. Cool.
And just, make sure that's everything.
So now we make console for the record.
No, just go here to regular. Okay, so that,
We run this now.
no.
Oh,
It's still not going to work. But now we know that the other ones are not going to cause us any errors, right?
Yeah.
So now we focus on getting this one to work. What you're doing right now is this line, you're deleting the record table
Yeah.
if it's already there. So we clean it out. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then after it has been cleaned out, we start seeding. And this line here, it's way too simple. We need to do much more work than that.
Okay.
So let's insert a line before that one.
Before some?
Yeah, after line 6. Yeah, so you need to somehow iterate over every single object in records. So you need to do maybe a for loop, you can do a map, you can maybe do a filter. It kind of depends on how you're going to structure this. So,
we work like const record.
Huh?
We start like const record. We pass some our function. What you said? Like
yeah, so the point is we want to do something for every single record there is in the JSON file. Yeah, so that's iterating, that's doing a loop,
Yeah.
that's a for loop, or it could be a map, or what you prefer. So I don't know, do you prefer to do a map, or do you prefer to do a for loop? For loop? Okay, let's do a for loop then.
That will mapping, I think, better for this.
Map is better? Then
Yeah,
let's do
map.
map. I prefer map.
Yeah.
So what is it you want to map? You want to map your songs, because this
Yeah.
is your JSON, right?
Yeah.
So just do songs.map.
Record.
Yeah, in here you need to pass a callback function. You need to create a function, and I prefer to do like arrow functions. I see you're already typing out regular functions, but I try to do arrow functions everywhere. If I can.
You pass the record.
No, try to create a function in here.
Record. Yeah, record.
You have the same pattern. Yes,
Yes,
exactly. Yeah.
Just record. You don't need that in PowerPoint.
Yeah, so if you do it this way, that's regular function syntax. Then you need to do the exactly like up here. So you need to have like the parentheses for the parameter and these ones for the block.
But like if you go like promise as like a Bruno's callback.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, we don't need to set up a promise yet.
Let's use the arrow function just for
Yeah.
record.
I think it's better to use the arrow function.
Come on.
You deleted the key too much. Yeah. Right?
With
For-
record.
Is it string or not?
And let's do the first, and then we can remove them after if we don't need them. Just so we understand the syntax. Wait a second. Just remove that.
Look at your screen,
Yeah.
because when you don't look at the screen,
Yeah.
you will be
Yeah.
confused.
Okay. So I'll help you down here. Okay. So here you need to do like parentheses. Do you remember the syntax of an arrow function?
Yeah.
So let me just refresh it real quick. So why can't you? Okay. So regular JavaScript syntax, whoops, looks like this, right? Return, and then maybe if we have a parameter up here, we could do like A and we can do B. Yeah, okay, so there's still a few different ways you can do it, but you can do like this, const sum equals, then you have a function sum, A plus B, something like that, right? So that means you have a function here, you store that function in sum, okay? So if you want to do the same thing using an arrow function, you can do const sum equals, and then instead of writing function, you do this. So this here is equivalent to the word function, and then you just take this part here and move it to the other side of the arrow, right? And then you can do this, right? So that's one way to do it. Then the next thing you could do is if you are just going to return this A and B, you can do all of this in one line. So if you remove the block here, it's just going to assume that the stuff that comes right there is something you want to return, right? So this is still equivalent. Then in the case that you only have one parameter, so right now we have A and B. So let's imagine that we did the same here. And we only have A. Then we could shorten that even more. So we could take function. Let's make that an arrow. Let's move this one to the other side. Oh, I still need that. Let's move that one to the other side. Yeah, so these two are equivalent right now, but this one you can simplify it even more. So you can do this, right? Because if you only have one parameter, you can just put it like that. And again, we can do the stuff that we did before because we are just returning A, so we could also remove the block and do everything in one line. So I mean, all of these are, these up here are all equivalents of one, and these are equivalent of another way of writing the same function. Okay? So just quick brush up. So let's try to make your map as a arrow function map.
So we make constants. You already have constants. So now we make a.
So your arrow function, how would it normally look like? Maybe let me just try to type out what your arrow function should look like here. No, certainly not your arrow, your map function. So you have songs, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to do .map.
Yeah.
So the way you would do it with a regular function is like this.
Yeah.
And then maybe something like EL for element. that's going to be every time you have a new record, this will be the record. And then you can return the element if that's what you want. I don't know what if that's what you want, right? So how would you turn this into an arrow function?
We make a EL,
Yeah,
arrow, and then parentheses.
EL arrow parentheses.
Arrow there, EL.
So remember again what I told you. Function is the same as the arrow. So if you replace function with the arrow, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have to do next?
Return the arrow, actually. Return the arrow.
Return what?
Like if you make like this arrow, you will make return arrow, function return arrow.
Yeah, but there's something that's more important because right now this won't work. So there's one thing more. You have to put this thing in front of the arrow
Yeah.
instead, right?
Parentheses.
So like this. This will work.
Yeah.
But we can simplify it a little bit. So we can remove the parentheses here because we only have one parameter, EL. That's a single parameter. So we can simplify it a little bit. And yeah, you're right. We can also do it in one line if you really want to. But I know the stuff that you're going to do, we're not going to do that in one line. So the syntax we're looking for is probably this. Okay?
Yeah. Map record and return map record.
Let's try to do that. Yeah, it doesn't really look. That doesn't really look like what I did. What you need to think about is that the map is a function call. Okay. And inside the function call, you have you're declaring a function. So have a look here again. So see the map is calling a function. It starts here and it ends here. So all of this stuff goes inside the parentheses of the map. Okay? Yeah. That's
Now what you need this one.
yeah, you're very close now.
Yeah, but
Put the brackets on the next line. So there on line 8 you have a bracket and a parenthesis. Put that on the next line.
line 8.
Put it on a new line on line 9. No. Just go on between record. There. Yes, exactly. Because what you need to think about is that this one matches the bracket that you started above, right?
Yeah.
And right now you just typed record, but you need to type return record because you have the brackets. If you remove the brackets, you don't type return. But you don't actually have to, you're not supposed to return record because that means you're doing nothing. It just means you get a record and you return the same record. So what going on here would be completely transparent. It would be the same as you already had. What you need to figure out is to take every one of these records right now and insert the different things that you have on that record that you're going to put in the database. And maybe I'm thinking. Yeah, let's start doing this, and just for now we'll ignore the songs. So we just insert the metadata from the record itself. And for that you need the stuff that you already were doing on line 11. but you need to make it a little more detailed.
Yeah.
So
The parent things, because this migration is really
I'm not sure if you can do it as simple as that. I'm saying that now.
What I did was to create an array.
Yeah, you create a separate array, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
An array. Then
Yeah.
I see what.
I was thinking if maybe we could do it without doing that as like an intermediary step, but I think it's maybe more logical to do it like that. It's easier to follow the code as well. So okay, so what you need to think about is that now you will create an array in your code, and every time you have a new record, you will put something into one of the array elements.
You have to look on your record what you want, and then you push it in the new array. Then after you insert it in the
so in this case I feel like we retain them here and we retain them here also. The same.
Yeah, so the reason you have to return is you also have two functions, right? So you have an arrow function, that's a function that we just typed out, and you have a function on line 6. You actually have 3 returns because you also have a return on line 5, and that's because you have yet another function on line 3. So right now you have 3 functions nested within each other. And that's completely normal in JavaScript land.
Let's we can see what we get from this table, what we get now. Okay.
It's not gonna run. Yeah. You haven't fixed the problem. So try to create that array that we were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably have to create it outside your map, because otherwise it will be deleted every time the map is running.
How about the create here?
Yeah, you have to create it before you do the map. So yeah, there. Exactly.
Course.
Yeah, it's not going to be songs, it's going to be records. And records will have songs within. Or maybe we'll put songs in a different array. I'm not sure. In plural, yeah.
Because there will be record.
But you'll have many records, so it will be in plural. So records with an S in the end.
Yeah, because don't we just it's an array. It's not an object.
Right now you're doing an object, not an array.
Just leave it like that. It's what you really depend on object.
No, because it's more difficult to map over an object.
Yeah, I was telling him to put an array. I thought you were saying really depend. I don't know.
No, it should be an array. But now you have an array with an object inside. You don't need the object inside the array. That doesn't make sense. And just put them right after each other because it's an empty array, and that's the idea. We want to create an empty array. Yep, that's an empty array. Cool. And now, so for each record in the array, we are going to put an object.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you're doing. We're just not going to put an empty object. We are actually going to put an object with some data, right? So what I would do is that on line 9, yeah, I actually wouldn't return. I would just push stuff into the array. So you can remove that line there. And now for each record, you should expect to have something like, I'm just going to jump out and find the JSON file. So for each of your records, you can expect to have a title, for instance. You can expect to have an artist. And what else did we have in the database that's relevant? Yeah, physical. Do you have that one? How many of these do you have right now in your database?
We have title, alternative title, rebel, record rebel, and location.
Yeah. But the record label, I didn't put that one in here yet.
Yeah.
Okay. But
So-
from the diagram, it was
And
there, so-
the location is also not there. Yeah, but that just means that we leave it out now, and then later on
So
you
we
can
have
add it to your sheet.
We have to start alternative title and title.
Yeah, alternative title and artist, right? Is there more?
Artist was not there, but we can include it. But it's not in the.
Okay, can I see the diagram again?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's on, that's on the song probably, right? What was that?
Should I pass the data?
So record
Just go back to here.
alternative record label and location.
Yeah. Okay. So we don't have location at the moment. So we just
Yeah.
have title and an alternative title.
Location also empty.
Yeah, that's everything. Yeah. So we have title and alternative title. So that's all we need to deal with right now. So go back to your code. Now
Location sound.
you're in the right file right now. No, don't go to the migrations file. We don't care about them right now. Yeah. You don't want to close the DB because we want the seats. But you're in the right file right now.
Yeah.
So there on line 9, what I want to do is I want to extract record.title and record.alternative title and put them into our array.
Record the title.
But now you're putting multiple things in. No, not like that. If you're putting multiple things into an array, you need to wrap it up in an object, right?
Okay.
So let's create that object. Not there. That line is finished. We did everything we needed there. Yeah. On line 9, create an object. Yeah. So this object will have the
Title.
Hmm?
Record title.
yeah. And this is an object, remember, so it has to have a key and a value. So what is the key? It's just record title. And
So we need to have this parenthesis open.
Hmm?
We need to have this.
no, I'll show you how to push it to the array after.
Record.
No. So the first one is the key. So this one is just a string. And you can actually put it in strings, or you can choose not to put it in strings. That doesn't matter. I mean, let's just put them in strings just to make it a little more clear that they're different. So type a string and then do record title with camel K. So record big T title. No, put it in a string. That means quotes. Yeah, but you still need to do title. It's one word. It's record title. That's your key.
Only. We This one also is three.
Not in a string. Because this time you're going to pull data out of our JSON file. So we do that by doing record, because you know record is. Oh wait. You have a problem here. No.
It has to change.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, your right now your
The other one was
your
supposed to
JSON
be
file is called
records.
songs,
Yeah, this is.
and it's not that's not quite right because it's actually records with songs with them. So I'd like you to rename that one and call it records instead. Records, and then when you're mapping over it on line 8, you need to rename it as well. And now you can see that the map kind of makes a little more sense because you start with records and then you get to records. So it's each one of them, right? And
Change the parameter or the name of the array.
yeah, because the array here, it should be
Title.
no, it's like
Maybe you can call it record that.
records list. Again, it should be plural, so S, and then list. I think it's quite important when you do your variables that you distinguish between singular and plural. So if you have something where it's just a variable where you have one record in it, call it record.
Yeah.
If you have something where it's a list of records, call it records with an S, right? Because that's a lot less confusing when you start debugging and then you're doing like record and then suddenly it's an array and you're like, oh, I thought it was only one record. So it helps a lot further down the line. But the reason we call this one records list is because we already used the name record for the JSON, right?
Yeah.
So we take from records, and put it into records list. That's the goal right now. So you have record title there on line 10. Now we need to pull out the actual title. So you reference records. No, I'm sorry, record in singular. Because we are splitting it out for every single one, right? So that's the one you have on line 8. So you do record and then dot and then the thing you want.
And here we're going to record dot.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes, and you can do the same on the line below, just with alternative title. No, that's not right. Yeah. So I would just copy that line there and
It's okay.
Just- yeah. the entire line. Okay. Whatever you prefer. Alternative, and then it's uppercase title. Yeah, it's always suggesting. Yeah, and then of course the first one here in the beginning of line 11, you need to do record alternative title as well. Yeah, in that case you would need a big A. Yeah, make the A big. Yeah. And there's one more problem here because right now, if you look at your, remember this is a JavaScript object.
Yeah.
So this is key value, and it's a list of key value pairs. Yeah. Usually when you have a list, what is separating the list? Commas. Right now you're doing semicolon. Semicolon means end of line. So Yeah, and you don't need
Comma.
you should not put a comma after the last item, right? And then one small thing is I want you to indent, so you just like do like a tab before line 10 and 11 because they have to be one more in compared to the object itself. Yeah, no, yeah, not like that. It's better that they're on separate lines.
And so like the ones like this in the middle.
There, yeah. So line 10 is right now, but 11, no, 10 was correct.
Yeah.
Do tap now.
One space. No, up.
Tap,
One.
yeah, and then the next one, next line, do tap, and then on line 12 you need to do tap as well. Yes, this looks correct. Good. Okay, so now you have an object here, but what you actually want to do is you have to put that object into your array. Do you remember how you do that? How you put something into an array that you created previously?
We think to map it in record here.
Yeah. Let me just show you again. So if you have an array like this, you could start out giving your array some initial values if you want, but we can't do that in this case, right? Because we don't know what those initial values are going to be. So instead we just create an empty array, and now we want to put something into the array. So you can do that by using array dot push, and then you can do like 1, and after that you could do array push again, and you could do 2 again. But in your case, you're actually going to do array dot push, and then you're going to have your object and push that instead. So let's try doing that. Array dot push. Yeah. So right now you're pushing an empty object, right? But you already have the object written out above. So you just take that object and copy that into your push. The entire object, including the brackets, because
All those.
from line 9 to line 12. From line 9 to 12, including those 2 lines. Not 13. Yeah. And remove the brackets in there. Yeah. Exactly. And then remove the stuff you had outside from 9 to 12 now. You were supposed to cut it, not copy it. Yeah. Just remove those lines, yeah. Okay. So that means now that you take the title and you take the alternative title, and now you push them to your array as an object. Huh?
Records list. That's the name of the array.
Yeah, the array records list, yeah?
Yeah.
Did I say something else?
On push, it's put in array. I don't know whether it is different.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's not right. Yeah, okay. You need to put here, instead of array dot push, you need to put the name of your array, and the name of your array is records list. Yep. And now finally, let's comment out line 15 because that's not going to work anyway. And then instead of that, not do the block comment, do the single line comment. No. Only the line. Yeah, and then remove, yeah, exactly. And then do something after line 15. So insert a line after 15. Inside the, yeah, exactly, yeah. And then do console log. And then, and then console log the records list so we can see if all the stuff we want actually goes in there. Yeah. Cool. Try to run this. No, no. Valid C file must have a C function. That's because we've just been commenting out all the other files. Okay, so can I have a look at those files again? I don't think you need them anyway. No, the C files. You just keep going to the migrations folder.
They commented out the install.
Yeah, this.
Install is supposed to be.
But the only thing you're doing there is you take everything from the JSON file and try to push it into the database. So you can delete all of them except for the one we're working in, record.
But the return we needed is the insert in the database. That's why we get the insert soon.
Oh, can I see the error message again?
In which file?
The error message in your console?
The time.
What is in the C file?
No, because you can see it's making a error on the o1 song.js,
Yeah.
and we commented out everything in that one. That's why it's failing.
Because I see you saying that you must have a seed function which
Yeah.
has been commented
Yeah, we have the seed function. No, sorry, we don't have a seed function because we commented it out. But we don't need this file. It's not really doing anything we can use. The only file we need right now is the records seed file. So we can delete all the other ones. So just delete 1, 4, and 5. Because it's just going to look in this folder and look for seed files, and if they are not set up with a seed function, it's going to complain.
So he has to delete someone.
Don't mess with this stuff. We want that.
Yeah, I know you want, but I think my do not going to work. We need to delete all C files. Sorry, including our records.
No,
I want
no.
to copy somewhere.
No, I'm pretty sure that will work. Because we did the console log before, where it was alright.
So we will delete this one now, all entire page.
Yeah.
Just send it in the site of the date on the.
Yeah. We're running out of time pretty soon. Yeah, that's working. So that's our, it's actually printing out our array. You can see the array starts here, and the array stops there. And then we have for each line in the array, we have an object starting there, ending there. And this object has record title, something there, record alternative title, empty. Most of the alternative titles are going to be empty. So that was what we wanted, but we're not actually trying to put it in the database. So that's the last step I want to try and see if we can achieve. So let's see your code again. So exactly. So I'm thinking if we would have lock inserting it like it is right now. So record title and alternative title, do they match the names in the database?
In the database?
Yeah. So you need to go on, select all from record. So yeah, singular. Alternative title and title. Okay, so they don't match at all. Back to your code. Yeah, let's see your code again. So this one is just supposed to be called title with a small t. And this one down here is just supposed to be called alternative title with a small a. So you just have to remove record and then on both lines and then lowercase it. So. Cool. So now, not yet. Now try to go on line 15. And 15 and comment it back in. Remove the comments. And not that one. That was an actual legit comment all the time. So you see, what Knex is trying to do is insert into record. That's what we want to do. But we don't want to insert songs. We want to insert record lists. Yeah. Records list. You didn't.
Insert record list.
Yeah.
Right.
So, invalid input syntax for integer. So we're trying to put a string into where it's expecting an integer. So it's expecting us to create the IDs maybe?
What's the
I'm not sure, but
what's the type for the type and the alternative type?
yeah, let's check that. Maybe that's easier to
Yeah, the problem with
alternative title is an integer. Yeah, that's not right. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's not gonna work because you need to run the migration again. So you probably need to run migrate, rollback, and then migrate again. Migrate latest. And then migrate latest. Yeah. And then try to do the C. No problem. Okay. But I think we kind of need to stop. I just want to, can you give me control of your screen?
Yes.
Just, yeah, you think you can press so you can give me control. Because I just want to, yeah, share control of your screen. Yeah, because I just want to type out what you need to be doing now. Please, yeah, okay. So in your seed file here again, so this is for every record, right? Then after you push your data to the record, I want you to and I want you up here, I want you to create an array songs list. And then here after, use next to insert songs list into table songs. Yeah, Whoops, crazy stuff happening now. I have no idea what I just did. Maybe you should take back control before I ruin something. So I hope with those comments, I hope you can continue working on this. Otherwise, ask me Slack as usual. So I think that concludes the class for today. Do you have a good idea what you have to go home and work on now?
All the time running to the same script.
Yeah.
First, my email map it and then apply to the JSON.
Yeah, so you need to continue that approach to all of your tables, and you need to set up the other tables as well. So you have this with the bands and the artists as well, and that one's going to be a little more tricky because you need to join that one as well, and you need to keep track of the references because that was what I wrote in the comments there. That's really important. That's what we all discussed today with Diane first and with Isaac as well. That you need to keep track of. Let me just look into the data file here. So every time you have a new record, a new record is from here to here.
Yeah.
So let's say this record gets an ID from your system. So record ID is 5. So every time that happens, you have to, on the tracks here, you have to do like a record ID 5. This is not proper syntax, I'm just showing. And you have to repeat that on the track down here, right? But also because the artists, so actually the band here will have its own table. So that one will also have like an ID 5, let's do something else, 7, right? And then it will be like band ID 7 and that will be repeated for this guy down here. Yeah. So, and you will find when you start doing this, you will find that we have a lot of data that is replicated in the database. So you'll have to type it many times over, like this, for instance, where I just showed you, like record ID 5. You have to do it every time on every song. And that's something you usually try to avoid in MySQL by creating relations, so you can kind of like avoid redundancy. But because of the considerations we had about using Elasticsearch, that we want to have one table where you have as much as possible of the metadata, we kind of like denormalized it. So it's you will have more redundant data than you usually have, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem because Elasticsearch is taking care of searching for us. So this is more like for optimizing how fast we can load things and avoid making so many joins and other things. So yeah.
And you talked about working on the front page.
Yeah. So if you manage to get all the other things working, I suggest continue looking into having a nice front page. I think we should maybe try to do some wireframes for the front page as well. I just don't know if we're going to finish it up, but I mean, a lot of it is a matter of using Elasticsearch, setting up different default views.
Like last time, Matt was saying that they should leave most Elasticsearch. We should leave it most for the site.
Yeah.
It can somehow, if you are inserting elements.
Yeah, but I mean the front page would be a good case for Elasticsearch because that is basically about like find a list that meets this criteria, find another list that meets this criteria, find another list that meets this criteria. All right. So that's searching.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the idea about that. Yeah. But if you get to that point, maybe let us know on Slack, and we can like maybe have a discussion on Slack about more details how to do it.
I saw something like that on the Discord that the one we share,
Yeah.
where you can search by year.
Yeah.
I really don't know how to apply it to my code.
Huh?
I don't know how to apply it to my code yet, where you
Okay.
can just select year,
Yeah.
then you'll be searching by year.
Okay. Yeah. We should. I mean, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I mean, like Elasticsearch should take care of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't remember if the data that we currently have on the Elasticsearch endpoint.
Yeah, it's not that.
There are some problems there, and I'm not sure about the years how they were represented. I think we've changed that a little bit, but I'll poke Mackie and make sure that we get that updated really soon, so you don't have to worry about that. Cool. Any more questions?
This track table. So we need track table and we need all table. Table here.
Well, that's just nested inside. And you can see it's actually repeated here, so side A and side B. But what I suggest is only use this one up here,
Yeah.
because sometimes there are problems with this one down there, and it's not so important to know that it's side A or B. So just use this one here.
The table name, the same table up like some table, like all these ones.
This will be the songs table, right?
Yeah.
And this would be one record in the songs table. This would be another record in the songs table. And each of them will, of course, have the record ID that comes from the record, which is like all of this.
Yeah.
And a band artist ID. You know, there's this table between artist and band. So this table will have an ID. And that ID will be on each of the songs as well.
So this coming week we'll be having the pieces of music and the cover pages. Is it cover?
Daniel, did you hear anything about that?
We have it. I'm getting the thumbnails and
Okay.
completing a little bit the album. So
Yeah.
we have the option of having one snippet per album.
Cool.
Yeah.
But don't expect to have hundreds of them. Right now, it took us like 4 weeks to get 6. So.
Oh.
But now we have something at least. So. Yeah.
Okay, but it's able to also cut this JSON data just for 200 or 300.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so we're gonna go into this because the index and the
Yeah, this is the lesson that
MySQL
it's
or
very
Yeah.
hard
Postgres, we
to
use like 200 links
talk with
for
customers,
Postgres.
even though that they want the
Like this
product,
200, you have to increase the
they think that
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like you're not going to run out of space
but they
in
need to make
MySQL,
an
and it's not going to be a
we do the
heavy
code,
application.
but they need
Because
to
even though this looks like a lot of lines,
give the
it's actually not a lot. I mean, like it's
the commodities
5,000
or the
lines
goods
or
or
something
whatever.
Yeah, it will deduct in one line actually.
and okay, it's actually 50,000 lines. But still, this file, I think it's maybe like 1 megabyte or 2 megabyte or something like that. And real, right, production websites, big websites, they often have like many thousand times as much data as this. It's not like your tools are going to be struggling with this amount of data. It's more that I know that a lot of these songs are not clean. There's not all the metadata for all the songs. So that's the work I've been trying to do, has been to kind of like figure out what are the best songs to include, and then we could throw away all the stuff that's not nice. Because the problem is, if you're demoing the product and you're showing, so you have like some songs with album artwork, right? And you have some that have music, and you have some that don't, and then you have some where it's just like looks like spelling mistakes. It's just it makes the app look really, really shitty, and it might actually not be your fault. It's just because of the data, right? So if we can clean that data as good as possible, then it would be nicer for you to work with. But I mean, you should be able to run with all the data. The app will just look crappy because the data is
I
crappy.
took the data and ran it in validation. It's very good. There's nothing.
No, it validates
Yeah,
fine.
it's-
There's nothing there. Yeah.
The data is set messy inside somehow.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh yeah, thanks. I think if I success this, what we're doing now, all everything running, so I will go to front end, I will do something and get Elasticsearch.
Right. Cool. Good work. Thanks for today.
Thanks. Thank you.